Namaste, friends. Today's topic is Varna and Jati, caste system, and its historical roots, or I put down lack of historical roots. Actually, this word is a misnomer and the most misunderstood. In America itself, there are at least 25 or 30 organizations, Hindu organizations, and each one has a different spin on it. And each one speaks in a different language. So that is the reason I wanted that this is being faced by every student in 9th grade, and every student hangs down his head in shame because he is included in the oppressing class, as if they themselves should be ashamed of what is happening or what was happening or what is perceived to be happening. So that's the reason it has to be done, and it has to be done in a very scientific way. How did it start? Where are the Indian roots? What was in India? And surprisingly, everybody takes a sankalp during the yajna. But surprisingly, nobody bothers to see that the Varan is not mentioned at all. And I will go through that. So I'm just saying the importance of it, why we are talking about it. So it is the most distorted word and most abused word in every institution, whether this is communication, broadcasting, government establishment, documents, college admissions, you name it. Everywhere it is given a different kind of spin. And because of those bias and assumptions, the English translations of Kalidas' work or other people's Sanskrit works, and they are also misunderstood or mistranslated. I'm sorry. So, for example, Parvati in one of the Kalidas's dramas, the English word used is tribal. You see which tribe she belonged to. So Parvati is described like this. And similarly, in other places, the translations, Adivasi, who had their own republics, their own customs and economic system, they are translated as shudras. You see, as if everybody, Parvati was the shudra, Adivasis were shudra, everybody was shudra, if they are not in the first three categories. And I'll go through the list of shudras, who they were. Actually, shudra word was not there. It was skilled and unskilled workers. They come in the class which is not included as Brahmin or Kshatriya or Vaishya, and the rest of all, the architects, engineers, dancers, dramatists, entertainment centers, masons, everybody, the mine workers, the metal workers, everybody was in that list of unskilled or skilled workers. So you can understand the sculptor. He's not Shudra, and he's not Adivasi, and he's not tribal, and he never was oppressed. And there's nothing like human right violation, or they were untouchables. You see, these categories are coined to malign. First of all, they have linked Varanashram, which is Vishesha Dharma, which means it is Desh, Kal, Neme, and it belongs to certain classes in certain occupations. They have their rules, they have their business ethics, So that is Vishesha Dharma. It is not Sanatan Dharma. So this is the first differentiation that has to be made, and Varan Vyavastha, Vishesha Dharma, has to be decoupled from the Dharma itself, Sanatan Dharma. Now, when we are talking about Christianity or any other system in the classrooms or on any public forum, they are using the word social structure as part of Hindu Dharma. Whereas for any other religion, established religion, there is no talk about social structure, whether there was slavery in Greece or in Rome or anything. Now, it's only for Hindus and Hindu Dharma that they have put I have gone through several curriculum guidelines of various states and even Indian website. And that is the most shameful aspect of it, that government of India has not corrected or brought out the true situation to the light of its own people. So social structure is a matter of sociology, whereas Sanatan Dharma, the cosmic reality, is Samanya Dharma, which everybody follows. So then there is a politics involved, vote banks are created, international biases are there, assertion of superiority, white Christian superiority. And because it is linked with human rights violation, Indian society is always under surveillance. Every other month, some or other human rights organization is visiting India to monitor the situation. I mean, this privilege is not given to any other country where massive human rights violations are there. So India is peculiar, has a peculiar place because they want to root out Hindu Dharma. And that is why social structure is mentioned in the curriculum. And that's why Amnesty International descends on India, and then human rights violation, this group, that group, United Nations, anybody and everybody. And we are not aware of this. Dangerous impact of distortions and mythical notions. So now in the textbooks and in the public forum discussions, every problem is linked to caste. So how is it linked? India is poor because most of the people are untouchables and they don't have jobs. Okay. Then there is oppression. Then there is disharmony, communal disharmony because of caste system. And you keep going on and on and on. Discrimination, a whole list of it. Not to mention saffron terror. You see, Hindus are terrorists because they have suppressed, broken certain classes. So that is how. Now, what is the impact of this distortions? India's international image is maligned. And India as a country is reduced to one of the terrorist countries or with human rights violations and all that. So that Damocles sword is always hanging on the Hindus. When will anybody mention caste, and when we are going to put down our head in shame? So what is our problem? First of all, we have become immune to these this kind of malignment and putting you down. You see, we just put our head down and we say, yes, there is some caste discrimination. Either there is discrimination or there is no. So that is why it is the most important dharma of every mother, father, and family to teach their children what exactly it is. And before ninth grade, it is better that the kids should know it. Because once they are indoctrinated, they are shamed, hiding under the tables in the classrooms. And then, after that, it becomes a little difficult to bring their self-esteem up. So it's a matter of sheer identity and self-esteem. Any self-respecting person should face the truth, the living reality, and see what is their contribution to save their children from this kind of discrimination and bias. Now let's see. This is the notion which is being promoted. Hindu dharma came into being when Hindu dharma came into being, as if a specific time was there when the cosmic reality descended on earth. Okay. It's violation of the theory of evolution. So came into being. Manu wrote the Samriti, and the caste system, along with the subordinate positions of women, were laid out by him for the followers of Vedic dharma. This is twisted and misleading. Now let's see. This everybody must be reading all the time. Manusmriti, Hindu dharma, right from the beginning of Hindu dharma. Now, historical evidence. Let's see. Manusmriti came several centuries after the Mahabharata war. In the 2nd century, there was a person by the name Manu. He wrote Samriti. Because in the earlier millenniums, there was oral tradition. Samriti itself means it is scripted. So obviously it was not there. And I don't think anybody has mentioned Manu Samriti. Manu is mentioned. And Manu is Adi Manu. The entire Vara Kalpa is divided in 14 Manvantras. We are in the 7th Manvantra. And Swambhav Manu was the first Manvantra, Manu of Manvantra. Right now we are in the 7th Manvantra, which is Vailasvat Manvantra. So far, 6 in between are there. Was he listed among Manus of the next 6 Manvantras? Do we have that Manu in these Manvantras? No. So therefore, this is the first falsehood. Swambhav Manu, nobody knows about him. He was a king. The Manvantra is the very first one is known by his name. So this is the first mythical notion. The Manu who wrote Samriti is not the same as Swambhav Manu. Manu of Samriti and Shastras. All but now we are talking about Samriti, which was written, and some later Shastras, not the original ones. All at birth, everybody is ignorant, right? So they have used shudra for the lack of another word. Actually, it means ignorant or not knowledgeable. So not academic, okay? After attaining education, people are considered as twice born. So later distortions and wrong translations, I have already mentioned. Foreign accounts of visitors. Now we are going through that. Up to 700 AD, Indian society with Shudras as a class is not there. Whoever has mentioned the foreign visitor, Fayan or Yunsan, or the earliest one, Magasnes, nobody has mentioned Shudra as a class or untouchability as part of Hindu dharma. The word untouchability, oppressed tribals, do not exist in the literature of millennia of Hindu tradition. So Shastras or Manusmriti, did they ever become law of the land? This is another point. You see, they say that the Brahminical Manusmriti became the standard for everybody to follow, and as if it was the prescribed in some kind of constitution. So when did it become the law of the land? Never. In fact, no king ever mentioned even, bothered to mention. Buddha's encounter with the king. This is very interesting. When on one of his, yatra, he was passing by Magadha. And the king of Magadha at that time was watching from his balcony and seeing that here is a person very austerely dressed, and he has a royal kind of aura around him. So he sent a person down and asked Buddha, who are you? You see, he didn't say, what is your caste? He said, who are you? And Buddha's response, what he said, that I come from a place which is a small clan in Magadha, and this is Shakya Desh. And he said, my given name, first name, is Siddharth. My Jati is Shakya. They call him Shakya Muni also. And my Gotra is Gautam. That's it. Did Buddhists decry caste? Later on, they say that we don't believe in caste. But there was no caste. What did Buddha say? And then he added one more line. He says, at this time, I have nothing. I don't belong to anybody and nothing belongs to me, which means he has no varna. He has no occupation. You see how the wording is important, and these kind of incidents. And later on, of course, I met in many scholars from Sri Lanka and Vietnam, and everybody said that Buddha was against caste. I don't understand. How could that be? What caste? So they did not touch those who, yes, Buddhists do not touch those who skin the animals or sell animal products. So Hindus also try to, keep them outside the boundaries of the crowded places. And they are called Chandals. Okay. In between, I may mention that they say that Shudras were the downcast, oppressed by Brahmins, Vaishyas, and Kshatriyas. Now let us see. People consider Shri Ram as Bhagwan, and people consider Krishna as Bhagwan. Both were Kshatriya, right? Okay. And now Brahmins considered both Krishna and Ram as Bhagwan. And Ram and Krishna considered Valmiki as Bhagwan. You see the loop. There is absolutely no dichotomy. If Valmiki is a Rishi and Guru of Bhagwan Ram and Bhagwan Krishna, then where is the discrimination and where is even a rift or bias? So these are the classes Magasthenes mentioned after Alexander's invasion. He 7 classes: philosophers, Brahmin, Buddhist teachers. So teachers were philosophers and 1 class. It does not say higher or lower. Husbandmen, shepherds. Husbandmen are those who are working for a living. Shepherds, artisans, soldiers, civil officers, ministers. There are Shudras in this list. And where are the untouchables in this list? You see, we people have to get this into our mindset. And probably tattoos are made that this is what Manusmriti said in 3rd century BC, right? As a reminder that there was no untouchability in Hindu dharma and there was no shudra as a class. Now, caste doesn't exist, never did, right? So far we have proven that. Entire government machinery uses the word in every single document, whether it is a marriage license or a college admission, caste is mentioned. And at the time of marriages also. So who is perpetuating the usage of the term to create cleavages? And where there are none. So those cleavages do not exist. So why the government is doing that? Or every government is doing that? Or NGOs are doing that, being watchdogs of the rights in India? So even for 6+ decades, Congress party has made so many sabkas for giving them benefits and creating vote banks. And I'll go to that. For each of these groups, absence of caste is an existentialist threat. If these NGOs and Christians and foreign countries do not use the word caste and eliminate it out of their discourse, their own existence becomes meaningless because they are asserting we are superior. Why? Because you have caste system. Once the caste system is taken away from the entire landscape, then where is their superiority? They are man-made ideologies. So religion is another wild card to be played against certain groups to reduce their numbers. You see? So this is NGO's way of increasing conversion. They use it as a whip and an easy way of conversion. You will be better off if you are converted to Christianity. We believe in equality, which is not so. So Varna was now, in short, was a craft, a guild, a clan, and administrative unit. At the same time, it afforded each individual a job, skills, and a sense of belonging. That I belong to such and such clan or such and such guild. It was like a union. I'm a member of a union. And of course, there was a word for guild. The word was shireni. Okay. So progress during the ancient times depended on this Varna system. Because when there were wars going on, and wars were always going on, they were fighting. Kshatriyas were fighting. Farmers were doing their own job. The craftsmen were making their own structures and doing things. The miners were working. Everyone was working. Brahmins are doing their job. Only the Kshatriyas were fighting. So the economy was the least affected in Hindu India. Let's put it this way. So while the rulers changed, the craftsmen, architects, everybody did their own job uninterrupted. So there was no economic collapse at any given time. Can we compare European economic system and Middle Eastern society with Hindu dharma and Vishesh dharma? Someone should draw the picture. In Greece, there were citizens and then slaves. In Rome, there was oligarchy, the rich people, and aristocracy, which was very brutal and ruthless, and slaves. So every king who conquered a foreign land brought slaves, women, children, and held them as slaves. Where is slavery in India? Did we ever mention that? The only word used in Sanskrit language is das, and das means servant. Servant can be to Bhagwan. You see, dasi, devadasi. And servant can be helper. That word is not being used. Slaves is never used. That we own the person. Nobody owns a person. Nobody is kept in chains. Nobody is separated and children sold. So that should be, it's always better to be, instead of being defensive, let us put the shoe, put the blame on them and describe Roman Empire and describe Russia and describe Western Europe, Roman civilization, Greece and Egypt, and how they enslaved the Jews. I mean, the whole lot of stuff is there. And I, of course, read the original sources, not when I did the research, probably Google was not there. But now the original PDF of original sources are there on the internet. And so one has to do, instead of, reading 2 lines of messages, why not make a small little 4-liner message? Hey, do you know what was happening in Roman Empire? Do you know what was happening in 16th century Europe? Do you know what was happening in Arab countries? And now the shoe is on the other foot. So what were the accomplishments in the year 500 to 1000 CE in any other country? Not known at all. Roman Empire is just about 300 before Common Era, and not more than 1,000 years. Greek history does not go beyond that, not even China. Okay. Now, this true origin of the caste. This I want, please print it out, this page, and put it in your pocket. Anytime any scholar or any teacher or any wayside passerby tells you, you belong to a caste, what do? You should take it out of your pocket. Hey, are you talking about this caste system? It was started by the British, by their own admission. And please read it carefully, remember it here, and keep that paper. I do that. I keep it in my purse. Anytime in interfaith conferences, they bring out this subject. First of all, it has nothing to do with faith traditions, Sanatana Dharma. So I immediately take it out. Here is what the British government ICS person said and wrote. Okay. And you have seen what Buddha said. And it is a good point to mention that we Hindus, we have Havan and Yagya at every sanskar. If there is a Mundan ceremony, there is a Havan. And if there is a marriage ceremony, there is a Havan. And at any other Tyohar, festival, sometimes we have Havan. And some have Havan every month in their own houses. Before the Havan, there is a parampara, tradition, that we have a Sankalpa mantra. The person who is conducting the Havan, he is asking the Yajman, the host of the Havan, to take a Sankalp. So that Sankalp is taken with water in the right hand, and then you say, he repeats, and probably many of you remember, Varakalpe, Vavasve Manvantre, and Amuk Nagre, this Jambu Dvipe. You see, exact places are mentioned. Say Chesapeake Nagre. Okay. Then he says, Amuk Name, someone, and then he tells us that you say your name. So we tell our name, Kamlesh. Jati, Okay, I'll say Chopa because that is my parents' name, Jatya. And then he will say Gotra. And not knowing the specific Gotra, I will say Kshatriya Gotra. I'm sorry, Vashisht Gotra or Koshalya Gotra. Because Kshatriyas are considered to be lineage of those rishis. Okay? So these are the only things. Did he ask me what is my occupation? Do I mention that this is my occupation? I mean, this is common sense thing which every Hindu, at least once in their lifetime, takes as Sankalp mantra. And then, of course, you put that water. And this is, how old is the Sankalp mantra? We don't know. Yes, Kali Yuga, Pratham Charne. I mean, it is all part of the thing. So, how did Jatis get converted into caste? You see, Jati is hereditary, Varan is occupation, and Varan system collapsed once the Muslims started invading. How? Because they killed the Brahmins, they killed the Kshatriyas in the war, and Vaishyas they needed for doing the jobs. And then the rest of the people who were masons or others, and they were used for unclean jobs in their own in their own castles. My voice is giving up. So how did these castes become 4,400? This is where Nehru comes in the picture. And I think this should be the last slide today. Indian Constitution, what went wrong in 65 years, because Constitution used the word Pichdi Jati, Pichde Varg. It meant historically in the last 1,000 years, people who were socially, culturally disadvantaged. So they are from backward areas or backward tribes who were denied the opportunities. As a matter of fact, everybody was denied the opportunities. Were the Brahmins allowed to wear Janevu? No. Were they used as a Maharaj to cook the food? Yes. Were they teachers? No. So the Varan system collapsed after 1,000 Common Era. And like fools who ruled got the transfer of power, they started Pichdi Jati work, which was necessary also. And it was for 10 years. Then it became 20 years. Then it became for eternity. Now all these High Court judges, and they belong to Pichda work, Pichdi Jati, IAS officers. And then they have expanded. So not only horizontally more classes, and they say that, how does religion come in the picture at all? Why Muslims are disadvantaged? They were the oppressors. Why Christians are disadvantaged? Why Jains are? Jains are the richest people. And Marathas, they were very powerful people. How did they become special disadvantaged classes? And Sikh. I mean, there's, again, last time I mentioned the word profound nonsense. So we are embodiment of rank ignorance and profound nonsense, which comes out of our mouth because we are ignorant. So let's see what is next. Subversion of the Constitution, and how the commissions came, and how expansion came, and how the merit was replaced, and the implications that we will do in the next one. But two things out of today's session, please remember who originated it by their own admission. So always keep the original quote It's not a long quote. And what Gautam Buddha said to the king of Magadha, very important. And if nothing else, remember your Sankalp mantra and the entirety. And you see, caste is not mentioned in that. Something is not a part of the Hindu dharma, then why is it being linked as essential feature of Hindu dharma? Hindu dharma came, and Manusmriti came, and wow, we have shudras and oppression and broken people. Now anthropology is brought in, sociology is brought in, and whole mythical spider web is created, and we fall into that. You see, because we don't know the web is there. Okay, thank you very much. I think that is where we end. And the next 65 years is another story. And questions.
Yeah, if you have questions, please unmute yourself and ask. And turn on your video.
Namaskar, Kamlesh ji.
Namaskar ji.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You know, you are breaking new grounds, giving new ideas. You know, it's really very, very interesting. So, you know, it all boils down to Nehru. You know, all the problems boil down to Nehru, and I have long been thinking, you know, how Constitution was framed. Like, was it a creation by Nehru himself? You know, forcing other people to agree with him in writing Constitution, you know, or something had an independent say on this.
Yeah, actually, the Constitution, when the British gave the power, transferred the power, they made 3 conditions, and that your Constitution must have it. One was partition of India. The other was, this was 1934 Act and modified by 1946 Cabinet Mission, who made the transfer agreement. So one condition was that. The second one, the Muslims who remain in India will have special reservations, you see, because they might be very poor and like that. And then they said that the Anglo-Indians, being a minority, will have special reservation. So, and then they said that people who were Shudras, untouchables, yes, untouchables were there, and they were using them. And they should be given special quotas, affirmative action. So this is what reservation in the Constitution is. For 10 years to give them a head start. And then it was extended, and now nobody even questions. They think it is part of life, you know. Reservation has to be there. And I made a separate this thing slide, which I should have done today. You see, once this caste system is totally removed and reservation are gone, you will see the hellhole that is created in India. I mean, in Hindi, they call it dhamaka. So there will be roadblocks and a whole lot of stuff. Okay, next, there are some more people. Mahendra ji. Mahendra ji.
That's
Hanji.
Oh no, I have a lot of questions. I'll put it up to you at a later date. I'm on the same point of thing, how I can unite my Hindus, and I have traveled over the last 30 years all across India, and I have seen it, how this 4 has become 4,400. It was really, really vested interest of the certain individuals who were at power at that point of time. Now is the time to correct ourselves. So what and all we can remove and what we can do. even today, I live in Houston. The whatever happening in India, it has come to Houston now. We have around 42 to the temples. Now it is going to go to 60. The same thing is carried forward here. So how we can do that? That's what we wanted to discuss about. So we can correct it now.
For this question, I have been fighting for this for 30 years, 35 years. My first war with the teaching material that is used in America, I started the war with them, that this is wrong. And till then, every Hindu that I met, I said, support me, because one individual can be, taking the petition, but when everybody joins, it becomes a movement. So let us start an andolan. Nobody joined me. When I said that this is happening, people said that you think so? I said, I know so. You see, thinking is not the question. And if you have ever opened the curriculum or the textbooks of your children, then it is about time you see it. You see? So I have seen the shame on Hindus, children, how they are coping with it. And we are unable to protect them. By the age 10, everybody should teach their children that you will be in 11th, 9th grade taught Indian section as culture. And there will be a lot of garbage thrown on your head. So please, right away, blank your pages as if they don't exist and learn this. And that is why I wrote Ancient Indian History, that the kids should have some pride, who we were. You see, you are taking bit by bit and claiming your own. You see, a Christian woman in an interfaith said, quantum physics was started by Jesus Christ. There was no Jesus Christ. Nobody knows about him. And
that's true. That's very true. Very true. Because there's so many stuff has to be correction, and it has to be done only with our being as a united persons.
We can't unite because we don't.
We cannot unite. It's in our Varna itself.
Books. We don't read.
Yes, ma'am.
We don't read books. We are not readers. Yes. Our attention span was 20 minutes. That is normal. And now our attention span is 5 minutes. I am myself
reducing
YouTube. If it is more than 10 minutes, I say I'll read it. I'll listen to it later. You see, this is what has happened to our mind.
Yes, ma'am. It goes with the age, and then now with our younger generation, right? Like my niece.
Younger generation.
It's very less.
Okay.
Can you give other people a chance, please?
1 minute.
Dilip ji, you can please wait. Hold on. We'll reach out to you.
Let's go, Dilip ji.
Yes, please. Go ahead, Dilip ji.
Okay, thank you for giving me a chance, because yes, the time is so much limited on everybody's part. I just want to mention one thing that and I'm not going to go into the politics, but the Article 30A disallowed Hindus to teach Hinduism in our schools. In India, there is no school that teaches Hinduism. Now, madams such as what we are listening to, have we made any efforts on teaching Hinduism in the schools? Nehru disallowed that. People can teach Muslim religion, other religions in schools, regular schools, but not allowing this to happen. This is what we end up with. That the real substance of the Hinduism, we never learned from the right people. So if we never learned it, shouldn't we put all our efforts to disallow or to cancel or to void that Article 30A, which is what some people are talking about right now. Modi wants to undo that Article 30A, which will allow the Hindus to teach Hinduism in Hindustan. And, we are so much at a disadvantage.
Actually, the word is not ism. Where you do not have a founder, you see, and you are not no evidence of that physical manifestation of that founder, then it is not an ism. Ism is created by, it is an ideology, and it created by people, men. Okay.
Forgive me for saying that word ism.
No, that is what I'm saying, that we have to correct our own mindset also.
Yes, but shouldn't we put all the efforts in
true.
keeping us, Hindu or the Aryatva or whatever the right word is?
Hindu dharma should is who? Parents, who? Government. Government says we are secular. And I went to, when I go to India, I go to all kind of universities and colleges, even DAV colleges. And their first respect is, we are secular. Please don't talk about Hindu dharma.
See, there you go.
This is a DAV college, DAV school. And madam, you are only talking about history because our grant depends. So this is how things are run in India. And this in GNU, I was invited. And the moment the head of department, she was a moderator, she realized that she is demolishing Aryan invasion theory. And our entire curriculum is based on that. After 5 minutes, she wrote a note to me, passed on. She says that because I have another engagement, let us stop the session. I mean, imagine that she is asking the invited guest that let us leave at that. She didn't want that I should be teaching that there are 17 holes in the Aryan invasion theory. So when I looked at that note, and I am pretty fierce when somebody insults me like that. So I said that it seems some people, I didn't say, who. I said some people want to leave, they should leave. People have their own priorities. But I am not going to leave. I have come all the way from America. You invited me. I am going to spend 45 minutes allotted to me. And if the whole group leaves, I'll still be here with my presentation.
Which year it was?
We have a lot of questions, Kamlesh ji.
Which year it was?
This was 2014.
Oh, now we have changed, ma'am. Now we have changed.
Kamlesh ji.
Now this is a different time. Okay, sorry.
Shashi, next question. Shashi ji, next question.
So my question has to do with how most of our people, us, we are very few realized and woken up people. Most Janta thinks like HAF thinks. HAF for a month or so, report they were going to put that said, because of all these problems with caste discrimination, let's eliminate Jati and Varna, basically caste. Now that is the woke thinking that most seculars have. And, HAF being as woke or whatever as they are, not understanding Hindu dharma, they floated that. And then the whole Samaj came down on them and they changed their position on, okay, no, we are wrong, sorry. Let's not eliminate Jati and Varna. Let's eliminate Jati discrimination. What do you say about that? And a couple of other comments I want to make before you answer so that I don't have to come back. Whoever said that we don't have education in schools, the smart way to do that is wherever you have connections, push it through and let us worry about the law later. Pujya Swami Vijnananji has started MS and PhD in Hinduism studies in 17 universities. Just through the back door, just start it and get it done. And it's already happening. Yeah. Also, all the work you are saying we do, we are on your side. We completely agree with everything you said. Very good information. I'd like a copy. Hopefully I'll see it on YouTube. But how do you work hard when a powerful force like Pujya Shankaracharya ji is saying, oh, if you're a Brahmin for 9 lives, and then if you're a Brahmin marrying a Kshatriya, it will lead to humans marrying monkeys, is comparing the two things. How do we fight a powerful force like that? That makes it very hard for us to go and convince our Shudras to come on our side. I'll take it off.
One quote here and there. We should not, Shankaracharya said, in which context he said, and why he said. You see, we we highlight it. Why should we highlight it? My point is, do the Christians highlight their own faults? We have made a apology on behalf of Hindus. We are ashamed of caste system and we apologize. Who are you to apologize on my behalf? You see, so that is why I say when there are 12 groups, each talking his own language, there should be a common thread. I am not talking as a Hindu activist now. I am talking as a mother. It is a mother's duty to give identity. You see, motherhood is a reality. I gave birth, nobody can deny. Father is who the mother says father is. You see, this is before the DNA business. Now, of course, you can determine. But if the mother says that he is your father, Dada, Baba, the child learns that he is my father. Now, mothers give the identity in a matriarchal society. Otherwise, father gives. See, when there is no identity, Jati has to remain, because Hindus believe that it is incest if the cousins marry among themselves. So Chopras cannot marry among Chopras and Kapurs cannot marry among Kapurs, even fifth generation cousins, because it is incest. And there will be mutation, genetic defects. Okay. So that is why Jati has to remain. And Gotra, as far as you remember, that is your lineage, historic thing. But Jati, you must have. So my given name, all these Sardars, they came. You see, this is interesting. Sardars came here and everybody sing. Now the immigration people are asking, hey, guys, what is your last name? Singh. They said everybody cannot be Singh. And I tell you, this Dhanj, Pannu, Dhanju, all kind of names, Dhaliwal, Dhariwal, all of these names came after coming here, because this is your identity. Be proud of your identity. My mother gave me the birth, I am Chopra girl. So that is your identity. Otherwise, you will be confused. Okay? Yeah. Anybody? Yes, Saiji.
Yeah.
Vash.
You're on mute.
आप म्यूट पे हैं.
Yeah, classic problem. Firstly, thank you for your time and thank you for all the knowledge you're sharing today. So in terms of what Mahendraji and others were also saying, like trying to go around, trying to educate people and convince people is one thing, and people can listen and just decide not to agree or not pay attention. Like all cigarette smokers know it's bad, but they still do it. Right? So what I'm thinking is, are there steps that people who agree with you, who resonate with the message that you are giving, that caste is proving to be a divisive force and not helping in the overall growth story and the power consolidation of Hindus? Should we do something on ground rather than just talking to people? Because talking is information and then convincing an adult is quite difficult. The tree has already grown. There are things like people going and getting a certificate saying, I don't belong to any caste. So are there things like that we should do? That's one thing. Just to have some tangible effect on the ground, say that this is one recourse rather than just talking and educating people. And many people may not even understand. There was one guy who told, like I was asking, why are they voting for a Christian party in the Andhra Pradesh government, right? They are Reddys. And if you're so casteist about Reddys, then even if you take the traditional version or the current conventional version, Reddys only exist in Hinduism. In Christian, there's nothing like a Reddy. And this guy told me, as long as there is an R at the end of the name, I'm voting for them. I don't care about Hindu or Christian, right? So is there something that we can do on the ground?
Yes. On the ground comes later. You see, everything starts from the family first, right? So that is the start. And when you make a strategy, you have to have a plan. In that plan, there are 4 or 5 bullet points doable. This we can do. Then there are challenges, that this will be posing challenge. This is called, in administration, we learn that how to execute a plan. You have to have a strategy. And then you have to learn to think on your feet fast, because nobody has more than 5 minutes for you to think. So you have to have a ready-made plan. My plan, okay? My own plan is to first make a list of other people's societies' faults.
Fair enough.
And propagate that. Christian did this, Baptist did this, slavery, Jews, persecution, Christians killed Jews, all of this. Make a long list of all kind of things. You see, this is being on the offensive. You don't fight and win a war on the defense.
Yeah.
Okay? So you make a plan. I'm going to attack. I'm going to talk about them. Okay. Now, at the same time, I'm going to have, if anybody talks about caste, this is my answer, those two, Gautam Buddha and even Megasthenes, you can say. Okay. Now that makes to enforce. You see, you forewarn your children that you will be facing this thing, a bias and abuse. Be careful. And I'm going to give you the weapon. Now I have given you the weapon. What caste? And be bold. See, if you are ignorant as a mother, as a parent, then you see you lost the battle. The first battle is at the age of 3. You tell them Hindu dharma is dharma, not a reason. Nobody started. It's a cosmic law. If you tell me divine creator created this universe, I haven't seen that divine creator, nor have you. So it's beyond a comprehensive, beyond comprehension and beyond a reference point. So let's not talk about that. So you see, be specific. 4, 5, 6 bullets against that, in favor of. Reinforce at home. Tell the teachers, go as guests. When I found out that Indian civilization is not at all taught up to the 8th grade in Virginia. So I made, under the heading diversity and inclusion, the otherness, I made lessons for every single grade for that. And after the first 3-4 slides, I started talking about, the most ancient civilization and A to Z, they developed this, they developed this, they developed this. And it's still living, not vanishing. So what I'm saying that sometimes you go in a straight line and sometimes you go make a loop, circumvent. Circumvent means that you do the same thing, but in a roundabout. And many people later on realize that, hey, she's teaching ancient civilization, Indian civilization. She is not doing diversity. I am doing diversity. So my lessons started, I still have them, from kindergarten and right up to the college level. I still have them, diversity and inclusion. And I went to Navy bases, this basis, that base, non-government, government. You see, activism is younger people's work. Right now, I am not capable of traveling, but even my voice is dying down. So, but as long as I'm living, I am doing something, giving you a strategy. Make a plan. Don't apologize ever. I'm sorry. Because you are not sorry. Why should you be sorry? When the German people were mistreated for Holocaust, After some time, the German people said that what happened, our ancestors did, how are we responsible? And they stopped shaming each other.
Yeah,
They
thank
don't
you.
apologize now. So
Yeah.
that is what we have to do, guts.
Yeah, next one. Yeah, Karunaji.
Thank you, Kamlesh ji, for very wealthy information so far. I have why this Ambedkar and all these, fighting for, the other castes and all this. When did that come into picture? If it is not part of this religion thing, as this casteism, yeah.
I already said that Varna Vyavastha died after 1,000 years. But the Muslims, because they have harems and women are not allowed to come out, so they needed people, Hindu people, to clean their privies. If there were any privies or just an open well. So, and though their descendants, obviously it is a question of cleanliness. You see, even a mother who was given birth 40 days, nobody enters the house. She is not Shudra. Why? It is a hygiene. So those were hygienic grounds. And since it was perpetuated by the English commode system, my grandfather still used the forest, and many people at that time used. You see, this privy system came much later, in the last 200 years. So the answer is right there. He was an aggrieved person, but he did not challenge Hindu dharma. And he was staunch believer in Hindutva. He used the word in his books. I have those. You see, some of the things, if I cannot tell today, join that group. Ask me questions and I'll give you references or whatever the answer I know.
So I'm sorry. So Ambedkar actually was not against the religion. He was against the inequality of the society. Is that how?
Everybody is against inequalities. Inequalities are inherent in even in a family. No two children achieve the same way, given the same opportunity and the same DNA and genetic markers. You see? So
Right.
there is no such thing as that you bring equity. You cannot make people equal, right? But you give equal opportunity. So that is where the Hindus are so confused, that you give them equal opportunity. But the head start you have already given in affirmative action, that with lower grades, they will be given preference in admissions and in jobs. That time is over. If in 3 generations a person has not left the crutches, even the doctor says after surgery that I don't want you to be using the walker. Be on your own. You can't be always on crutches. It limits meritocracy. Merit is gone. That is why all most upper caste people left India, the brain drain, because of Mandal Commission and Sachar Commission and every nonsense. And by the way, all the education ministers, most of them were Muslims. Darul Hussain and Maulana Azad. And they finished our language. We were de-linked from Sanskrit and our own language, Hindi. English became the high bar. And then the secularism, nonsense, and socialism. Hindus are the only socialist people. They take care of each other. So you can ask me any question, because I've written extensively on ancient Indian history and the last 100 years history. So most of it I still remember.
Yeah, Ravinderji.
Thank you.
Namaskar, Kamlesh.
Okay, you're all right now.
Swast. So I don't have actually, I have a little comment actually in support of what you just now mentioned, that this meme of the equality, which has come from the what's called French Renaissance and the Catholic and the churches theology. One needs to know that biologically the survival of the fittest, it is not the survival of the equals. The only diversity allows you to survive. If diversity does not happen, the species is finished. So it has no basis actually. So similarly, I would say that all Hindus, who are really concerned about these issues, they should understand the terms which they use from English.
Exactly.
Whether it is secularism, whether it is equality, the consequences of equality are horrendous. Whole communism is a consequence of the equality. And not that they bring equality, but they post the Communist Party at the helm and force equality on the others. It's just not possible to have equality.
Not possible. Even in the family, it is not possible. You can provide equal financial help. You cannot create equity. Equal results is impossible.
Impossible.
Krishna says that you give equal opportunity, sabko ek saman dekho, but then leave the rest their own sanskar.
Yeah, I tried to join basketball with Michael Jordan, but they said that you are not competent.
Yeah, I was not competent for basketball.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other question, please?
Yes, please.
Yes.
I'm Rupali. This is my friend Osnat from Israel. So she is visiting, and I am here taking them around India, a little bit in the north, Himachal. And we are supposed to explain, in fact, one of her favorite subjects was, please, Rupali, explain to us what is Varna. And a question. You can ask them, Osnat. No, go ahead. So she's come from Israel.
What is Varna?
18 women.
Yeah, Varna.
Yes.
That
the
is
Varna system.
Varna
Yes.
means occupation or family business. You see, it gives you a cushion. Like, I remember a dentist in America, in New York. He said that I am a dentist, right? My family, each one of them, as long as I live, I'm going to give them the scalpel to take the tooth out. What is this? This is Varna.
There is a lot of misunderstanding and confusion between Varna, caste system, and Jati. So
we don't have caste system. We have Varna, which has collapsed. But this guy wanted every single person in his family to the fourth generation be a dentist. So his own name was there.
From the generation. From the Vedas. The Vedas. Yes.
No, Vedas mentioned no such thing.
No, the Purusha Sutta.
Varna Ashram was mentioned by Shri Krishna based on gunas. That was
also in the Artha Shastra.
Orientation.
No, Manusmriti.
Artha Shastra came much later and doesn't mention that. Manusmriti was 2nd century. Christ.
And Purusha Sutta?
Not that old. Manusmriti, it was written. There was
Artha Shastra is Chanakya, Rupali. Don't confuse with all of those.
Okay.
Yeah, what Kamlesh Kapurji is explained, that's the one we need to take it up.
Yeah.
Others are all confusing ones.
Certain things erase from your mind. Because if the page is blank, your mind is sponge. You will understand what I'm saying. If you retain all the misperceptions and dialogues that people are having at different times, then you will not get the meaning of what this our oral tradition was. You see, Vishwamitra, for example, was a Kshatriya. He was a king. And he found that a Brahmin has a more power than I have. He became Maharishi. Balmiki was a Chandal. He became everybody's guru.
Became a Brahmin by
Yeah,
writing the Ramayana.
didn't become a Brahman. I am a Kshatriya, but I am teaching. So by virtue of my guna, now I am a Brahman.
Like the
Because
Bhagavad Gita.
this is what my guna is now. I am teaching.
Yeah.
And by the way, mother by definition is a teacher. She never stopped being a teacher.
Guna. Your qualities.
Quality.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I am
we are
glad.
looking for
If you forget the word caste and never use it, and then you will understand it better, because this is not our word. This is Portuguese word. It's a Latin.
yes, casta.
Yeah, casta.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Okay.
Dhanyavad.
Thank you.
Dhanyavad.
Any more questions? Anybody?
Yeah.
If we have time, I don't know. I can put it in the WhatsApp group also.
Yeah.
But I wanted
You can follow up. If you have already asked the question, you can
please.
follow it up. Yeah.
Please do
No,
that, because everything is not clear in just about 45 minutes.
no,
It has to be followed up, strategized, groups made, initiative taken. You see, before taking an action, there are various steps. And I can, with my experience, both as administrator, teacher, and writer, I can clarify.
So, Kamlesh, this is Nandi again. Is it possible in your next presentation, you can kind of, make a chart? This is what is Varna and Jati.
Oh, yes.
And, caste, so that people at a glance can understand
glance.
this is this.
Yeah. There is a book that I wrote, Hindu Dharma Teaching Guide. It's available on Amazon. And please buy that book. That explained in a scientific way, so that you can relate the oral tradition, which is useful now. It has environmentalism, link it with the shloka. We were the original recycling people, even today. Conservation of resources. When Bhim was cutting down trees in rage, Shri Krishna said, take from Prakriti only as much as you need. Preservation, conservation. You see, no wasting. The whole lot. So that book should be a guide. It is a guide, teaching guide. And it is in the form of lessons. You can teach starting from the age of 4 to 8, 8 to 12, 12 to high school, and then for college students. So I made that book. I taught my own grandchildren, and they said that, Nani, why don't you put it for other people? And I wrote a book.
You see, actually, Kamlesh, there are so many things, Vedas and these Manusmritis, and you said that nothing existed before it started coming after Islamic invasion and all this. So there is so much of confusion going around. People do not get the right perspective.
Let us deconfuse ourselves. You see, अगर
हाँ.
दिमाग का फ्यूज उड़ गया है, शॉर्ट सर्किट हो गया, तो उसको ठीक करो.
Kamlesh ji, I have another question. So when you mentioned about Valmiki and they are also not part of Brahmins or other, but they still became, he became like a teacher and by their gunas, right?
Yeah.
How do you explain to someone if they question about, for example, Ekalavya and Karna, they were not given opportunities.
They were not given opportunities. And there was a reason. You see, it was mother's fault. She deprived him of his identity. See? So there is a fault. It is not the social fault. It is the mother's fault. And Eklavya was a political decision. It was not based on any discrimination that way. It was a political decision that if he becomes the best archer, then Arjun will not be. And somewhere along the line, they knew the Mahabharata is coming and there will be a fight. And that was wrong also. You see, wrong is wrong. Those are individual decisions. That is not social prevalence. What Kunti did, every mother did not do.
How about Ekalavya?
Ekalavya again is a political decision by Dronacharya.
Mhm. So it's not based on the discrimination, not based on
It
the
is not
caste.
discrimination, it's a political decision.
It's a political decision not based on the caste.
No, there wasn't any caste.
Mhm.
There was no caste. And at that time, even Varun was fluid. For example, Dronacharya was a great warrior, but he was a rishi. Kripacharya was a great warrior. At the same time, he was a rishi. So the gunas are overlapping. I haven't forgotten to be a Kshatriya and a fighter. But my other guna is teaching. You see? The gunas are overlapping. There is no clear cut. These categories that the Britishers, race is coined by Germans and British. So,
we are getting towards the end. We are already over. So can we just meet in the next session and save our questions? So Karunaji, very quickly, the Eklavya, I hope you understood what Kamlesh is saying, but I'll give you another example. If today an Islamic terrorist comes to you and say you know how to you know how to make a bomb, would you teach him?
No way.
Okay, that's the reason Eklavya was denied. What you are saying, he was denied. That's the reason. He belonged to another kingdom. Okay, so if he became the best archer, he would come and defeat the what Dronacharya was serving, right? So nobody gives method to an enemy or to an opponent to defeat himself, and that was the reason Eklavya was denied. And then, of course, you can now today you can call it caste discrimination or what, but you are not going to teach Hafiz Saeed how to make a bomb, right? That's a very simple explanation.
Right. So the decision was purely made based on
political,
dharma versus whether you are working for dharma versus adharma.
Right.
If I may add a thing here.
That's it. I think we are running out of time. I think this.
I just want to add one thing here. The Karna was son of a Brahmin and a Kshatriya. Sutas are those.
Yes.
Suta is not a low caste, number one. Similarly, Eklavya was also a son of a general, but he was in the enemy territory of, I think, Jarasandha or something.
Jarasandha, yeah.
Thank you for clarifying.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.
Namaste. See you next time.
Namaskar ji.